Welcome to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy is a veteran U.S. Navy SEAL, a former protective officer for the CIA Global Response Staff, founder and CEO of the Able Shepherd Program, a husband and father of 4, and a personal friend of mine. Now here's Jimmy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Protector Culture Podcast with Jimmy Graham. I'm your host, Jimmy Graham. This is BK 051, yeah?
051.
001, that's correct. And I want to start off honoring Able Shepherd 347. You know the story?
I don't.
So James Quest,
Okay.
do you know that story?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so that's the number. So just to bring people up to speed, if you don't know what that means when we say 001, 051, Able Shepherd. So this is the Protector Culture Podcast of Jimmy Graham. The business, the training company that's at the core of all of this is Able Shepherd. So we have become a national standard for emergency readiness, meaning that there's a standard that if you're any good with a firearm, if you got a game plan for an emergency, readiness procedure, all this stuff, that's where all this lives. In this building, we're certifying, training people every day. We recertify people and all that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, and by the way, that coin is, there has to be a standard when you say, do you have a gun? Yeah, I got a gun. You any good with it? Oh, I feel like I'm pretty good. It's not a feeling, it's a standard.
Yeah.
Show me, right? So we go out in the range and you shoot pretty good. We go in the tactics and you shoot little girl in the head or something. I'm like, okay, you're not good actually. You shot the wrong person. So you're not good with a gun. You're a good shot, but this isn't about shooting, it's about capability. So it is a pretty complex process. It's very doable. It's not undoable, but it's not easy, right? So it's about midway through in phase 2, called Protector Certified. That means you've done the tactics and you're very, very good with a pistol, including tactics. If you got a certificate that says Protector Certified. If you keep going into AR and you continue, and now with tactics, with an AR transition and a pistol, you get a coin. Mine's in a holder, like this, with a number etched on it saying, on this day, I passed a very, very high standard. And yes, in fact, according to some dude in the world named Jimmy Graham in a program called Able Shepherd, I'm actually really good with a rifle and a pistol. Yeah. And 348 right now, but 347 was, we have 2 honorary Able Shepherds. And a couple weeks ago, it's been a minute since we've done a podcast, meaning we did one called Orwell. And I don't know what we said, but it got flagged. It got flagged by social media, and we're trying to get out of whatever jail to try to get that message to you. But we had a gentleman in the program that was a security director at a local church here, and the other security director found him in the hallway. He was working through the program towards becoming an Able Shepherd. Tyler, love you, brother, proud of you. Went and attempted to save his life and revive him, was not successful in that. So he has preceded us into heaven, but due to his hard work towards what he was heading towards, and he was actively protecting children in that role, he is honorary Able Shepherd 347. So it's pretty fantastic. It's a huge honor. Years and years ago, 085, a gentleman named Bruce Combs came here from New Mexico, trained hard with us, was working down that road, and then we got a text at the time. Neil got the text, or the email rather. The Sage, and he said, have you seen this? I'm like, seen what? He sends me the email, and it was Bruce, our brother, competitive shooter in New Mexico that was working towards Able Shepherd, and it basically said, brothers, I'm being called home. I was fighting the cancer. This stuff is not going well. I'm gonna go home and be comfortable, and I'm ready. I'm ready. And the one thing I wanted to do in my life was become an Able Shepherd. But it's not in the cards. My body's given out. Got the heart of a warrior, but my body's just done. So I'll see you boys on the other side. Neil said, think of what I'm thinking. I'm like, let's get in the car, brother. So we drove out there and had a ceremony with his family and made him honorary Able Shepherd number 085. So it feels right. It feels good to honor these guys as they're aspiring to do a thing. And that's kind of what we're all about. Yeah. Right. So appreciate you. Obviously in heaven, Bruce Combs, James Quest, Tyler, good job, brother. That's what we do, man. We show up. It's not our job to save the world. That's already been done. It's our job to try. So God bless you guys. All right, moving on. We're going to do a sit rep of sorts. It's been a minute since we've done this. We just got so much going on. There's a lot. It's not connected. It's going to be like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Cool. Figure it out. Nancy Guthrie. You know about this?
I do.
What do you know about it? So let's just start off with that conversation.
Gosh, the quick and dirty. A high profile, what would you say, network personality. Her mom was possibly kidnapped, taken from her house.
Looks
by
very
force,
much like, taken by force.
in the middle of the night with some guy wearing a mask and wearing rubber gloves. Those typically add up to, I didn't want to leave on my own accord.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are freaked out. I've had a lot of questions. I actually spoke in the media, and the NTD is the news broadcasting thing. It's somehow Epoch Times, whatever, connected with that. But I spoke about this, and they were asking. And it's a little bit weird when people are like, what's your gut saying? They want you to say, like, is she dead? Is she alive? And I just think that's just pretty insensitive when you got a family out there hanging by a thread, right? So I didn't want to go down that road. But I did make a point to say this, is that, in some kind of hostage situation, man, you got nothing. They've asked for money. They've said, I'll pay you money, and they don't hear anything. So your hands are really tied. And they asked about her faith. She was a very devout Christian woman. She says, why should she bring that up? What did that have to plan out? I'm like, it's everything. It's got everything to do with it, right? So that's all you've got right then. You want your mom back. And I said, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to talk about their family because whatever decision they make is up to them. That's a personal thing, right? Yeah. However, I'll talk about, Jimmy, to my kids, heaven forbid if that happened. I am a man of faith. And once you understand that, know the truth will set you free. Here's the truth. You can't kill me. Like, you can't. Like, you could end the life of this vehicle I'm riding around in, and then I'll see my kids eternally after that. And so, like I kind of said to, my kids that are little or whatever, it's like, if this ever happens, give it the old college try, and if it doesn't work out, I'll see you on the other side, right? But do not break the bank. Do not be tormented. This is terrorist. The definition of a terrorist is a person or a group of people that use force or the threat of force to advance their evil agenda. No, and I say this jokingly to my kids. They throw a fit when they're little. I'm like, I don't negotiate with terrorists, right? And they're like, what? Like, I'm a terrorist? I'm like, you don't terrorize my life, act right. And they do.
They do.
Right, but we ain't negotiating. So on that regard, I don't know what I'd do. Somebody, heaven forbid, had my loved ones. But yes, I would try. But it's just a different thing. It takes the power from the terrorists when you go, guys, I've already won. Like, I know, and I don't want to be tortured. That would stink, but I know how it ends. So all of a sudden, you just don't hold all the cards, right? Again, know the truth will set you free because there's peace on the other end of that. Maybe not right now, but eventually I win. That's just the way it is. And these people need to be held accountable. We need to find them. It is the government's job to protect people to the best of their ability. So if they have the means to come in, professionals come in and resolve this, I'm telling you guys, we have got to start putting criminals in jail. That's just the deal. Like, it's when people are breaking the law and losing their mind, we need to lock them up. It sets a precedent. What's rewarded is repeated. What's permitted is promoted. You break the law, you go to jail. Like, it just blows my mind. If I threw a brick at a federal vehicle, I expect to go to jail. Expect to, right? And it must happen or you're going to get more bricks at federal vehicles. That's just the deal, right? So you can agree, disagree. But when it happens, there's actually a repercussion. And that's why you're in the pokey. It's got to happen that way. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Guthrie family. I haven't heard any updates today. I've just been working my tail off. I've been really busy the past couple of days after I did that interview. So I don't know, but our thoughts and prayers are with that family because that's heart-wrenching. Yeah. But just not that they're watching this, but just take comfort in the fact that we do win in the end. Obviously try, praying for you guys, pray comfort for the family. But it would be much, much worse knowing that they weren't saved. That eternally that wasn't taken care of. And then people say, well, what should you do to prepare yourself? The only preparation, because I don't have a plan, hey, when they take my kids, I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to be relying on professionals. But here's the initial plan. Who are you? Whose are you? Where are you going when you die? Right? If you can take care of that business right now. You can get with the Lord, devote your life, commit. I am a sinner. Lord, I ask you into my life. You are my Lord and Savior, and I'm done with this, giving you my life. And when you receive that free gift, that's about all you can do to prepare for any of this mess, and I highly recommend it. And literally, if you have any issues with that, call me. Call me, contact me, I'll get on the phone with you and we'll handle that business. But you don't need me, right? You can do this as between you and the Lord. Canada, just more craziness. Let's go ahead and stack this on. What do you know about that one, if anything? Do you know
Very
much?
little,
Okay.
very little, other than the quick something on a white page.
So I did post on this just a bit, and when Roy told me about it, it was 10 and 25. That number I believe is now 9. It wasn't clear on if that was. I think it was. Some people didn't want to include the shooter, and some people did, is my best guess. Okay. As I understand it, it's 9 and then 25 injured. And it's in Canada. It's in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Not to rub in, how's that working out for you? But you can have all the gun laws you want. Nobody's immune from evil. Like it's like if it wasn't guns, it'd be cars. If it wasn't cars, it'd be steak knives. Whatever. We would say if somebody drowns, you're going to drain all the lakes. That's my Gary Ellis quote, right? Or teach your kids to swim. How are we going to make people stronger? I don't like this new teaching across a nation that I call run, hide, die, because it's like this whole run, hide, fight thing, but don't teach people how to fight. We're training people to be cowards. The second somebody does something out of line, they should be taken care of right now. Yeah. And that's going to require some grit in the teeth. It's going to require facing evil. It's going to require men to stand, men and women, but men to stand and protect people. Like I didn't realize till I looked into it a bit, these are teenagers, man. These are middle school. These are 12 and 13-year-old. I've got young kids. Nope. Man, I remember when Sandy Hook happened, that was the age of my daughters. Yep. Man, it just made me, and not just what was happened, but the way it happened. How many rounds were in individual kids is the face of evil, period. And it's every adult's job to protect kids, period. Every adult's job to protect kids. So you can pass all of the ridiculous gun laws you want, thinking it's doing well, but you're going to reduce the capability of those who would die for those kids. Or I tell people, I would die for your children. I don't know your children. I don't know you, but I'd die for your kids. But I don't want to. I want to live for your kids, right? So should I be able, I've just got some skills from being in the teams in the CIA and doing what we do here. I do have the ability to face evil, but you want to minimize my capability. Like of the good guys, it doesn't make any sense, right? If those were your kids and I didn't have the ability to protect them because of the rights that you took away from me, just not a good plan, right? So again, thoughts and prayers I can't imagine these are kids. Right now, people are not, and I saw politicians apologizing and praying. It's like, brother, I don't know that I hear your prayers, your fake prayers, right? Yeah. You actually created this problem. Like, what's the term? Gun person. Not gunman, not gunwoman, gun person, right? You created the problem that we're mass producing crazy. So you produce crazy who walked in the door, did crazy stuff, and you're pretending now you're praying for me? How about you stop doing it? That'd be a great idea. How about we stop playing these silly games and lying to people? If you love them enough to tell them the truth, you'd be like, freaking knock it off and act right. Or why don't you go live in a home where you can't hurt anybody, right? So that's just, something's got to happen because this is ridiculous. Like 12 and 13-year-olds. I'm looking at right now 4 12-year-olds, 1 13-year-olds, an educator, and then those killed in the home. The family, it's unbelievable. Abel, Mwanza, Ezekiel Schofield, Kylie Smith, Zoe Benoit, and Takaria Lampert, the educator. Shonda Evangana Durand, hyphenated name. Horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So praying for those families. We're going to keep working. We're going to work harder to try to prevent all this. Quick update on the program, what's going on. I say it this way, we've taken 13 years to build a product. Yep. I feel like that product's complete. When we added 4Z, which is hands-on, how do you extricate people from your church service or your school or whatever. Now, once it's justified and it's time to put hands on. Not talking about fighting, because we already had that covered, right? Not talking about shooting, we already had that covered. Even the lower stuff, the deconfliction and talking to people, there's an in-between. There's now I have to touch you, be ready for you to fight, but the objective is you out of this church handcuffed, in the appropriate circumstances. When we added that class, I completed that. And we added the endorsement G this summer. It completed the endorsement. So what does that mean? B for breaching, P for patrol, O for overwatch, and now G for the GRS standard, global response staff. There's a rifle standard of shooting and moving that if you pass it, man, Able Shepherd's good. You're really good if you're doing that one. Yeah. It's not easy. And now it's like where the rubber meets the road with a long gun. That's really legit type training. So we built this thing, and now take it to market. Now, I want to talk about this, and I'm not busting on this range in Texas because I appreciate your time and your consideration. But I do want to be very honest about this. I thought it would be harder to go out and present this. And I said, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm here to buy into a relationship, only if it's the right one. So I went out and showed them. So this is what we do. These are the numbers we believe we can achieve. We designed a shoot house. They did have some space. We wrote all this stuff out. They brought me down there, they flew me out down there to do this because of my expertise and because of a specialty, like as a consultant, right? Specializing in tribe and training, right? The training is off the charts. The tribe is even better. So we came down, we went all the way up to LOI. LOIs are letters of intent. Once you tweak them, you write it as a contract and then you sign them, right? As we were at that stage, they wanted to change both the tribe and the training? So the answer is no. We cannot do that. Like, I'm not going to try to do something with my name on it. If you're going to change it and it fails, I get blamed for it. It's going to be a failure, my failure. If my name's on it, it's going to be my failure. Yeah. It's going to be a success. It's going to be a success attributed to what we brought. I think that's just fair. So I pulled the plug on that on Friday, and I was literally going through, and I got to stay vague, and I don't mean to be, but I have to because of some commitments. I don't know if you know this. I was literally praying, and these are the words I used. Am I uncompromising? Like, am I too uncompromising? Because sometimes when you say we set a standard, it's easy to set, it's hard to defend. Yeah. So you can say whatever you want. Like, I want to lose a bunch of weight. Cool, now defend it and actually lose weight, right? Or you can say that we do this, but if you don't back it up, it just goes away. So defending a standard is what we've done around here, and we're still alive. So we've been able to create this thing and defend it long enough when, quite honestly, I know very little about business. I know more than when I started, but the lights shouldn't even be on right now, right? Yeah. So it's just we've been blessed throughout this, and we have a product that God blessed us with that doesn't rely on firearm sales. And if you know anything about Colorado law and what's going to happen on August 15th, it's not going to affect us. Why? Because we don't sell guns. Yeah. We train, right? We don't do CHPs either. We do a couple, but we don't market it. It's not a huge revenue stream for us. I had a buddy in Missouri. They're like, gun rights, constitutional carry. And then it passed, and they're like, we're out of business. Like, they were making so much money on concealed handgun, now you don't need one. Yeah. So they're like, oh my goodness. So they had to get creative and come up with another revenue stream. We've been protected where we don't need either of those. And now we're in an opportunity to potentially save businesses here. Help them keep their businesses by upping their training game, because we can teach them this stuff. Training is the easiest thing in the world to teach once you know how to do it, and it makes a bit of money. So we might be able to partner with Marty Daniel.
Awesome.
And I pray to God this happens. Marty, if you're watching this, man, I mean this. He's not the CEO anymore, but obviously he's the owner. To potentially make a program in unison with him to keep these other gun ranges alive and save some 2A businesses here in Colorado, so they can make training revenue that's going to offset the margins on their gun, which aren't high. Margins on guns aren't that high. Yeah. So back to this is like, the Texas thing. We have redirected, and we're looking at Lubbock. We're looking at potentially Midland. We're looking at some other places in Texas, because Texas has zero restrictions, and it's Texas. There's so many if you look at any major city, there's so many gun ranges. They're trying to be competitive. So if we just walk in and go, ding, all of a sudden you're the best one in town, you do that one time, and 10 more are right behind it. So that's a super exciting thing about taking Able Shepherd and what we've learned, but it's got to be done correctly. It's, in my opinion, not my opinion, absolutely fact. It must be Christ-centered. Unapologetically, this is the deal, right? Yeah. And you must do the standard. If you're going to do that community thing, then do it. And if you're going to do the training, then do it, but don't split it. Don't pretend like all of a sudden you became a professional in this when you can't do it. So this is the way it's got to be. So that's super exciting about some of those opportunities in Texas. We're also talking to Kansas City. We're also talking to New Jersey. We're also talking to Maine and Montana with the 2 guys out there. So we've got some options, but I can't rush it. I wish I could. Actually, don't. If I rush it, it'd mess up. It's in God's time. Things are lining up that are hard to explain. Okay, so back to it. I hear you, Dan. My buddy Dan says this. That was a long road to a small house. But what I say is, okay, long story longer. But so I'm like, am I uncompromising with all these standards and this and that and people and all this other stuff? But when you have a standard in your home and you kind of feel like, am I uncompromising? And then you look at your kids and they're amazing. Mm-hmm. Not just me, Rachel too, but we've held standards and there's the fruit. Yep. And we've held standards and here's the fruit. And we've held standards and there's the fruit, right? It's just the way it must work. It's not instant gratification, it's delayed. But here I am praying over and over, am I uncompromising? So a guy calls me this week, and I can't go into this, but we've been working on, I'm being considered for a show. And it's about, I can't get too much into it, but anyways, super cool, but it's kind of a long sell. But then he calls me and he goes, that's actually moving forward. It's a Christ-centered thing, but also there's another thing. And this one's more us. That sounds like kind of gritty. Yeah. Kind of like, hey man, Christian, this is kind of a good show, but it's a little kind of, my Christian life's a little bit more gritty than this one. So why can't movies be a little more, and when I really have a question, is this right or not? By God, let's show people that. So how do we do this? So he calls, he goes, this show's lining up. And if I said the actor, you would know him immediately. You'd be like, oh dude, but he's not so much an action guy. So he asked me, would you consider much like the Terran Tactical, don't get me started on all that kind of stuff, by the way, but like Terran Tactical, but not evil. Right? It's like, man, it's like this isn't about shooting, and there must be a level of decency. That's just the deal. And the training isn't about shooting. It must be about capability in the tactical world. But would you be interested in not only getting this actor that you would know up to look the part for this role about exactly that, you know, just a gritty thing, and it's a Christian thing and all that stuff, but then also these special operator guys, they're Christian kind of by name only. Some of them, whatever, I don't know, whatever the particulars, but would you also pour into these guys, right? So and this is why. Your uncompromising faith. And I'm like, oh,
Thank you.
right? So that's super, super cool. Working alongside brothers in that community where iron sharpens iron, to where I'm a part of it, they're a part of it, but we leave better. I think I'm gonna say no, you know what I mean? So it's super, super cool that there may be a couple people, and one of my buddies is a, you know, SEAL team guy, and from SEAL Team 8, his son's an actor, child actor. I think we talked about that.
Yep.
We've talked about, like, if, you know, is he going into the action role? Yeah. He need, you know, to look the part and do the tactical stuff, let's talk about that, but then also to have that Christian covering while he works in a cesspool called Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mandatory,
Oh,
brother.
Yeah.
Mandatory. And I know a guy. That's exactly what we do. That's just my game, right? So that's just, it's amazing. And the guy says, hey, once again, validation, did I make the right call by pulling Texas? And he says, are you available in March? I'm like, just so happens, I just cleared my calendar, right? And he's like, after that. So it looks like we might be doing some filming. Hope the dates work out in March, and we'll just see how it goes, right? So that's fantastic that they're, the strength of this community that I absolutely love, that most people don't see. You don't see the battles, brother. Brothers and sisters, man, we just go through the ringer, right? And I love it. And sometimes there's highs and lows and all this other stuff, but the strength of this community is real. And it doesn't come from us, it comes from Christ. And I can't even explain the stuff that I get to do literally on a daily basis, literally. But it's touch and go. Right now, it's touch and go all the time. But we could be training potential Christian actors for like the big screen, and that's just good, man. It's super cool. I like it. Okay, let's go for some wisdom from Louis L'Amour.
Woo!
So I know.
Look, cowboy wisdom.
I know, cowboy wisdom, and I love it. So I want to talk about these because it started off, and I can't remember if I did this or not. Did we talk about the Sackett series?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so, man, Pastor Chris Goebel, I love you, brother. So thank you so much, because we were talking, and it's just two dudes talking, and he said, we were talking about values. We were talking about the stuff, you know, a couple other books I'm going to recommend, but we'll start with a little bit more, is, man, where do people get those values? And this is I wouldn't call them Christian books. They talk about, you know, the Lord, talk about praying, all this stuff. But in a nutshell, if you don't know who Louis L'Amour is, look it up. My dad, I think, had every book, read every book. I know the guys. Tim Brown, what's up? I think you're the winner, because he had the leather ones.
Yeah.
Like the collection,
Nice,
and
yeah.
there's a display, and man, it's like, if your kids aren't down with those, by the way, let's talk, because where are those going if you ever get sick of them? America's authors, what they call him, and he's known for Westerns, but much like Yellowstone, and I'm convinced that Yellowstone, Tyler Sheridan is very familiar with Louis L'Amour and knows, because it starts not just in the Westerns, but before they were Westerns, they start over in Ireland, then to England, then sailing, and then coming over with pirate days and all this other stuff. So there's just fights and battles and saving honor and the sun, but the name Sackett, the legacy of that name Sackett lives on.
Okay.
Long enough to even become Westerns, right? So it's awesome. And this is the first one. And what I started doing is, he goes, the values in these books, he goes, I revisit them all the time. And I'm like, man, why haven't I done that? You know, my dad, I used to make fun of my dad for watching Westerns until I sat down and started watching them.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got addicted, because I'm watching Chuck Norris kick people in the face and all this stuff. I love that. It's like when it's like we got the guns and we throw them down so we can fight. And I'm like, oh, that's legit. I like the stupidest thing in the world, by the way. But I just ate all that stuff up. And I'd be out there, you know, in Muay Thai, and I'd be kicking trees with my shins, sitting there hitting. Literally, my mom's a nurse, and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm borrowing your brush so I can smack my shins and kill the nerve ending so I can kick harder. And she's like, you are crazy. Like, whatever. Be out in the rain kicking poles and stuff. Anyways, I digress. So now I absolutely love that, just that Western, that romantic draw to the West. Like, that's such a cool thing, man. Whether it's true or not, I think Deadwood, some of the gnarly ones are closer to truth. but John Wayne, Louis L'Amour, and all this stuff. So I started taking notes. They were so good where you're just sitting here enjoying, and they're on audiobook, thankfully, because when I want to just turn off and not really think about much of anything, I want to go on an adventure. If it's, I'd rather just go that way. But sometimes at night when I don't want garbage TV, I don't want to do this, I just want to relax for a minute and just kind of go into like neutral and just get rest. And I'll throw on a Louis L'Amour book, but sometimes I got to leap out of my seat and write something down. It's that good. So I want to touch on some of the nuggets just from the latest one. Yeah. It's called Ride the River, and this is the first time you're introduced to a female Sackett. So it's Echo Sackett, and she comes on the scene, little drawl, little Spitfire of a 5'2", in a little dress, evidently beautiful redhead, walking around to collect some inheritance or something like that, and she's got a little bag with a pistol in it and an Arkansas toothpick inside her dress, kind of rigged up on her leg, right? So I'm like, at first I'm like, how's this gonna go? And I end up just straight up digging it. It's really cool. So the first nugget, right, of goodness, Echo Sackett, and she's talking to a guy, his name is Mr. Chantry, and this guy's just kind of like one of those guys he's been a captain on a vessel, commanded men, been successful, but now he's a lawyer and he's trying to help her out, right? And he immediately sees in her this adventurous young, nothing inappropriate, nothing sexual, just she makes me feel alive and remind me that I used to be alive. Now I'm a lawyer and I'm doing this stuff, and not that that's not alive, but he used to be a captain and he used to be this, and he's a dangerous man. You find out he's in his 80s, but he fences at the local men's club and all this stuff, and he's got a cane with a sword in it, and you don't know any of this until it comes out, right? But before any of that goes down, they're just meeting each other, and she says about another lawyer that tried to rip her off, I don't like that man. And he says, Mr. Chantry says, do not let yourself be bothered by the inconsequential. One has only so much time in this world, so devote it to the work and people most important to you, to those you love, and the things that matter. One could waste half a lifetime with people one doesn't really like, or do things when one would better be off doing something else. And sometimes I just stop and I just let that sink in. Yeah. And I read it a couple of times and I'm like, that is such sound advice when you got the world. And I say it this way, when people go crazy, don't go with them. No. You know what I mean? Or don't spend a lot of time trying to make sense out of nonsense. Like most of this is nonsense. Like, why is this and why is that? It's like, because it's nonsense. And then another tongue-in-cheek, I say, there's a book about all this. You should read it. It's called the Bible. Right? It's like, this is going to happen. Here's what you're in charge of. What are you going to do while it happens? Here's what I'm going to choose. Take care of one another. I'm going. You're invited. Whatever that looks like. It's like if the problem's people, the solution's people. And if the world's getting darker, it's your duty to shine brighter. So to be a better person, we got to define better. So let's define better. By better, I mean, am I stronger spiritually, mentally, relationally, and physically? In that order. But here, thank you, Darren Smith, in a conversation over breakfast, the recipe's different. For whatever reason, I didn't pick this. It's not spiritual, mental, relational, physical. It's inverted. Guys come to physical. You earn credibility somehow. Not it's shoulder to shoulder, right? It's usually not face to face, it's shoulder to shoulder. Let's go do something. Let's make you capable physically. Let's build a relationship relationally. Let's get you thinking straight mentally so you're stronger. Let me earn a conversation spiritually and lead you into eternal salvation. So good. It's so good. I love what I do. Right? And that's the thing. Unlocking that formula has been why this thing is alive. Yeah. And not in theory, I got your back. I really got your back. Like please lift this motorcycle off me because I'm upside down. Yes, I will. Like that's a real adventure, not hypothetical. I got your back. Why? Because you've had my back in the mountains. It's deeper. It's just different. It's more, love the word, genuine, right? So don't waste your time on silliness when there's so much goodness you'll be missing out on. She's talking about, for the context, she says, she had said something and a woman came back really cross and she loaned her a petticoat because she's going to this fine dinner and she's kind of a country girl. So they dress her all up and everything and she loans her petticoat and she goes, oh, it actually fit even though you're way taller than me. And she goes, it was my daughter's. She goes, oh, I hope she doesn't mind. My daughter's dead. And she's like, and these are strong words, I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing at all. Yeah. And I'm like, we've said the power of silence. Mm-hmm. It's so powerful. Sometimes you don't need to say anything. Somebody gets in your face and spouts off. There's power in being stoic. Not mad, not like an idiot, just stoic. when you do that, people don't know what to do. After 4 or 5 seconds, it gets so uncomfortable, they have to talk. And usually it's something really stupid. And they can, right? You can actually be a fool if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and pick something else. And I say silence is better than saying something foolish, right? And it catches people, like, they don't know what to say. They're like, oh, and then they just start being silly, but then it feels silly. And you're like, yeah, because you're being a fool. This is again Echo Sackett, and she's talking. Some folks think that being smart in the books is the only kind of smart, but that just isn't so. Men learn a lot by doing, and they learn a lot by listening to what others say. But when a man is walking on a farm, or walking in the woods, or riding across country, he can do a lot of thinking. Many a man who reads a lot just repeats what he's read, and not what he thinks. And this has really hit me hard because I think we've talked about it here. In C.S. Lewis, the Most Reluctant Convert, that movie. Yeah. Really, the only thing I remember about that movie that sticks out was that he talked about taking a walk every day. When he was studying with the great Knock, his parents sent him there to study, and he would just go walk. And I've really, really thought a lot about that because of the time that I've spent in the mountains, the time I've spent talking to God, even the time this week and many weeks where I'll hear a great sermon from my pastor's been nailing it. Like I desperately needed the sermon on Sunday the past 3-4 weeks. Yeah. They just hit. Like, oh my goodness, and I'll watch them several times a week, right? But if you don't take time to think, it's just entertainment. Like, hey, thanks for the message on Sunday. I'm not going to do any of it, but good job entertaining me. And the next Sunday, hey, nailed it again, brother. Of course I'm not going to do any of it, but whatever, because I'm busy. But if you really think and apply it to your life, everything starts changing, right? So, but who's got time for that? I'm like, you better make time. Make time. Like, making time to think, taking a walk, doing things like that it's huge. It's I don't even know how to explain it. It's all the difference. Yeah. It makes all the difference. Like, sometimes just be still and know that I'm God. And I just don't know that I've done it much. So that's why that one landed so much. So I can't say, but somebody, well, is it a family member, is it a friend? Who knows? Somebody's in a bad way. Somebody's in jail, right? Been in jail. You listen more. When things sink in, when you're scared, when you're in pain, when you're desperate, right? So I know that this person is listening to me on a different level, right? Mm-hmm. And this came to mind. Mr. Chantry was talking to his nephew, and he said something, and he goes, you're 20 years old. And he goes, I know, you're 20 years old, and at that age, you're master of your own vessel. And I'm like, that is so good. It's so good, because I've said it different ways to my son when he's riding his motorcycle. We talked about that when he's doing all that stuff. And he's like watching somebody else. And he's like, she needs to, and I'm like, you need to, I said, fly your shit, boy. Like, you fly your shit. Don't worry about his, man. You're about to go off the cliff because you're worried about them. You can watch them for cues and clues and all that stuff, but you're in charge of this one. So you loosen up, and we do that wiggle, wiggle, rap, rap, toothpaste boy. And if you don't know that song, you're going to die on a mountain. So what that means, thank you, Everett, and that whole crew that just laughed, right? If you know what this means, it means when you get into sand, when you get into some nasty stuff, you loosen up, and Everett, hold it like an open tube of toothpaste. Like, you've got it, you don't want to drop it, but if you squeeze it, toothpaste comes out, right? So the wiggle wiggle means when you start getting in the sand, if you lock up, you're going down. You got to loosen up, literally wiggle like this, hit the gas and look where you want to go, and you will smooth come out of that. I mean, it's crazy. I will sit there and just go like this, pin it, and just go right through soft sand like nothing now that I know that. If you don't do it, you're cleaning dirt out of your ear, right? Actually, it's a Rocky Mountain, so they don't call it soft place to land mountains. You're landing on rock, right? yeah. Or saying like that, right? So it was the wiggle, wiggle, brap, brap, toothpaste boy. Because I would say that, like, first we said, do the wiggle thing, get that gas, brap, hold it like toothpaste means don't grip it, loosen it up. And I call boy because he's the only boy in the family, right? So everybody calls him boy. So we were going up, but like, hey, don't forget. And I would go, wiggle, wiggle, brap, brap, toothpaste boy. And I'd tell him, you're getting in it. Remember the thing. We're going into some soft stuff. Wiggle, wiggle, brap, brap, and I'd hear him singing. He forgets. I'm on the comms. Yeah. Wiggle, wiggle, brap, brap, toothpaste boy. Wiggle, wiggle, brap, brap. Because we'd get scared. He'd start singing it so he could remember. So we talked about making a T-shirt, whatever. So I don't know how I got on that, but that's good stuff. So back to this. Not only this young man being 20 years old, you're captain of your own vessel. The dudes that are 50 and they're still blaming their dad. Yeah. You're like, and I've told my kids this, told many people this. comes a time when I say 18, but let's say 20. At 20, somebody hands you the reins, and now you can go wherever you want. Like if you're captain of your own vessel, it means stop blaming dad for where your ship's going because you're actually the captain now, right? So there is time to just forgive. Forgive is one thing, but also if you're in a pit, it's because you put yourself in a pit, right? And I don't even want to hear about that. I grew up and I was the poor black kid that had to sell drugs, brother. I've met young men running flight decks that their family was shot to death in gangs and all that stuff, and they said, not me. I'm going to go get a job called the U.S. Navy, and now they're running things. You tell pilots what to do when you're running that flight deck, or they'll die. You tell Navy SEALs where to stand and where to go, because they'll die. Because it's so busy, you need to listen to that dude, and he's an E6, and he's right. And he didn't accidentally get that job. He worked for it, and he was supporting a family, and the rest of his family's like, they're dead or in jail, and I'm thriving, and I got a home, and it's in Virginia Beach or whatever, and it's a nice home, and I've worked for every bit of it. And I'm like, good for you, man. Good for you. You know why? Because he's master of his own vessel. Not going to take no for an answer. Last one of my favorites, the Sacketts, and I love the idea of lineage, meaning throughout all these hundreds of years that these books are covering, the name Sackett means something. Like there could be like an Indian on the frontier, Sackett? Like what? Because and I love in the story one of the people were like, they sheltered him, they put him up for the night, and then they're like, what do we owe you? And he's like, did I hear the name Sackett? She's like, yeah, Mako Sackett. She's like, a man passed through here many years ago, and I had recently been thrown off a horse or something happened, and he goes, he stayed on, he harvested animals, he took care of the crops and did all that till I get back on my feet. Money's no good here, and it's through that. It's just like, hey, if your name's Sackett, we're square,
we're good,
right? Because that's the only thing that good is associated to that name: honor, respect. Oh, you mean from Barnabas, the first dude that stepped foot on this thing? Yeah, we're good, So that's fantastic. But then this person asks, how many are there of the Sacketts? I mean, she says nobody rightly knows, but even one Sackett is quite a few. I love it, man. Lineage. I love it. And anybody would love their family name to mean something. Yeah. We did the lineage ride in 2019, and it meant something. Yeah. Like you didn't get yourself here. Some people, it was a community, it was a family, it was a tribe, it was a team that got you here. Let's honor some of those people. So some people rode for, Tyrone Wood, Glenn Doherty, SEAL Team buddies. My wife came on the trip in honor of her sister. I planned the ride partially with my dad, then lost my dad. He was also in my lineage, obviously. These guys are part of my story, and we honored them, and there was a ceremony, and it was beautiful. I mean, tears. Oh, yeah. It was just amazing. There was a slideshow. There were grandfathers that lost in the war, all this other stuff. It was fantastic. It's good stuff, man. So while we're talking about books, I met somebody today, and they didn't know that I had published 2 books. Now, around Christmas, we put it out about the kids' book and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of unsat that people in this group don't know that, right? And it's my fault. So if you didn't know, it's because I didn't teach you. So I want to talk about a quote that God has put in my life that I just can't really get away from it. I don't want to get away from it. It's just literally put it there for a reason, and kind of what's heard can't be unheard. And here's the quote. Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. It's easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Not easier to do it on the front end than the back end. When they're broken, they have a bunch of guilt. And we see this. We see a lot of men, including this guy, right, that could do better. And when you start looking at the problems in the world, you say, okay, where do we start? And I've just seen a lot of broken men, and I know that the answer that God wants men to stand for the right reasons for his kingdom, right? And we also need to model for young people if we expect to have a future. Here's the problem. Church that I used to attend was saying, let's go pour into the kids. I'm like, hold on a second. We've identified a problem, that is the men. I don't think they're in any state. They're broken. Yes. And you don't get to meet my son to model broken, or my girls, like Rebecca, Sarah, Christian, Eden. They deserve a better option. So, easier to raise strong children or repair broken men. You have to start with both simultaneously, right? You can't start with one and you're just chasing your tail, right? Yeah. Both simultaneously, and then pray to God they meet in the middle. So how do you do that? So as that was kind of on my heart, I also was called to write this book called The Return of Man. So The Return of Man is exactly that. It's the subtitle, America's Only Hope is in our original hope. You're like, oh, men. I'm like, no, Jesus. Like, it's like, literally, it's like, Jesus called you to be a man. Why aren't you doing it? Like, it's pretty clear in the Bible. If you don't know what that means, look at Job 29, look at Job 42. There's so many lists of men that stood that God thought very highly of. Not perfect men, by the way, right? But people who really, really tried to be perfect, right? Knowing they wouldn't get there till glory. So that is my son walking away. Jim Clemenson took that. Thanks, Jim. But it just captured it. Even the fact that he was wearing a little blue shirt. I'm in the background, kind of faded out, but he's got little fists made. You see the bottom of his little dirty feet. He was just walking towards me, and he caught that picture, and it was perfect for that, right? So when you start talking about what does that mean, it's like reminding men, let's get better, because there's just a better way. There's a plan. Print the legend. We talk about print the legend is, do you want the legend, the SEAL team version, the cool cop version, or do you want the truth? The truth about how wounded some of these SEALs are, the truth about some of these cops that are murderers, let's say, that are drunks, that they're foul mouth, kind of a punk, but they've got a gun. We're not poking anybody in the eye. I'm just after the truth. That's it. Like if they don't know how to, if Uvalde, you don't know how to clear a school, we need to talk about that. Yeah. But now it's too late, right? So I'm not worried about the legend. I want to know the truth. Show them they remember. Tell them they forget. If your kids don't know how to act right, it's because you didn't show them. That's the deal, right? You are here. Did you know there's an Old Testament, New Testament, an Old Covenant, New Covenant, Old Contract, and a New Contract? Did you know that this is a history lesson and this is how we're called to be? And did you know that you're in it? Yeah. Like in between, there's a cross, right? And then you're in the greatest story ever told. And it should be an action adventure. And everything you do, if you call yourself Christian, should be ministry. Everything. People are like, ministry's boring. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Everything I do is ministry, and it's freaking awesome. It's awesome. And it's dangerous, and it's action, it's adventure. It's awesome. You're doing it wrong. Green pin first. Plan for your family. Block off every single Sunday, call that your Sabbath, and don't ever work again. Yep. Right? You have to plan for that first, or it's just going to be gone. Right? It's going to be gone. Planning those family, the Community Santiago, brother, I hold that in my heart in a special place for the rest of my life. But you had us easy to set a standard. It's hard to defend it. Easy to say I'm going to Spain, but the work and all that went to get there, and I'll have it forever. Whether it be always and forever, no matter what. Formidable. Feed the front versus feed the rear. T360 means together 360 degrees. Yes, it's a tactical term, but it means so much more than that. Earn the conversation. Secundus optio. Sheep, wolves, sheepdogs, and shepherds, right? Shepherds. What's the difference? Forgive your fathers. Would you die for your country, right? That one quickly goes, cross out die. Would you live for your country? Yep. Show me, right? It's easy to die. You can accidentally die. You can't accidentally live. Righteous masculinity, right by God masculinity, the lie of Valhalla. Nobody believes in Valhalla. Stop saying that stupid stuff. Nobody believes you're going to die and then you're going to fight your way into heaven and then spend eternity fighting and fornicating. It's a stupid version of heaven. Stop saying it. It's ridiculous, and it offends me, I guess. Everybody wants, this one came up yesterday. Everyone wants a good man to stand.
Until they do.
Until he does, right? Everybody if you stood for what the Bible actually says, and by the way, spoiler alert, there's a book coming that's a game changer that I'm going to do a podcast on. It's still got to do some stuff. I meet with a guy tomorrow. The best book I've read easily in 20 years. Maybe ever. I've never underlined more in a book ever. It's a game changer, so stand by for that. But everybody wants a good man to stand until he does. And if you're ready to do that, I say, if you've got the balls to pray this prayer, God, break my heart for what breaks yours. He will. And you can't leave things untouched anymore. Yeah. You see a problem, you're going to go in. You just got to do it. Don't cheat. I tell my kids this, don't lie, cheat, or steal. And they say, or litter. Dad hates litter. So those are literally like the Graham, like credo, like do not. I don't want to see you lying, cheating, stealing. You better not litter. What is a man? We talk about that, right? And then the return of man is the last chapter on that, right? Then, got to say it. That's on the repair broken men. What about this raising stronger children? So God also led me through a conversation, a sweet conversation with my daughter, my sweet baby Sarah, who's not sweet. She's sweet, but she's not a little baby anymore. We're sitting in a tent on cots, and we have a conversation that turns into this book, right? And literally trying to love her mom better, and it leads to a chapter called "How Do You Love a Fish?" The answer to that is according to its needs. Not that I'm doing that well. meaning I'm trying to love my wife according to her needs. And that's what, and biblically you should be doing that. Do nothing from selfish or empty conceit, but with humility consider one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interest of others, right? In this, we tell that little story about the how do you love a fish. There's some discussion prompts. For example, with your child, what do you think it means to love people according to their needs? And just have a correct conversation before bed. Who could each of us love according to their needs? I don't know, maybe mom. Okay, what do you think her needs are? Well, she likes flowers. Maybe tomorrow we go buy flowers. And then you ask your child, what are your needs? I think I need some ice cream. All right, tomorrow, how about we go get some ice cream, right? And then there's a challenge. How do you love a fish? Reply, according to its needs. And then, in every chapter, we call it the promise. It's in every single chapter. I say this every single night. If my kids are asleep, I'll say it over them as they sleep. And I say, if they're awake, I say, I love you. And they say, I love you. They repeat this part. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're a good boy. And you're a good man. I love being your daddy. I love being your son. I thank God for you. I thank God for you. I'm always here for you. I'm always here for you. I love you always and forever. And they say, no matter what. For years, every single night, that's what they say. And I say, no matter what means no matter what. I can't stop loving you. I can't. No matter what you do, I can't. I can be disappointed, but I can't stop loving you, right? And then we say a prayer, specific to that chapter. Other chapters cover these points, and I'll just read them from the back. Let me just read the back real quick. We believe that there's a war on decency in this nation, and this book is a counter to that attack. Within these pages are not concepts that my family had to create for a book. These are our stories, our moments, the real lessons that God has blessed us with to make us stronger, to bring us closer to Him and closer to one another. Our prayer is that these lessons don't just benefit our family, but they benefit yours as well. Below are 11 points for your children covered in 11 chapters. Here's the points. Love others according to their needs. Take care of your body. Say true words. You are powerful. Stay humble. Don't be distracted. Be accountable. Have good manners. Be grateful. Be confident. You are treasured. How will our kids know these things if we don't tell them? And more importantly, if we don't show them? So show them and tell them often. God bless you. Raise strong children, repair broken men. That's the plan as best as I can come up with it. If you got a better one, call me and we'll do yours, right? I'm just not seeing it. So I was called to do this. I'm called to do this. I'm called to do this. Your life is a ministry. It's an action adventure. And if it's boring, you're doing it wrong. I'm not, that's why we have that joke. Parker, are you bored? He's like, I'm not bored. I'm like, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I promise you this, you won't be bored. I hate being bored. I can't sit still. Okay, last thing. This came up some point within the last month. And have I told you about my morning routine? It's kind of new. It's not real new, but it's been going for months. And the first thing came from, we did a podcast with my buddy Mike, and he was saying, we were over at a men's retreat, and he goes, Bowen, he said, feet on the floor. And I'm like, what did you say? He's like, when I got out of bed, I say feet on the floor. So I don't lay here all day. I just say feet on the floor, and I put my feet on the floor. I kind of borrowed that, and I made it knees on the floor. So when you're laying there and I hit the button and everything, I just kind of slither out of bed. Sometimes I lay there and just like think and talk to God, a little quiet time. But I'll roll out of bed, slide right to my knees and dedicate the day to God. Yeah. And just say, God, protect me this day. Whatever you got, I'm your guy. We just have a little conversation, right? And then I call it first 30, last 30 in the cold, hard truth. So first 30 is when you wake up and you are not very awake and your metabolism's low, the last thing you want to do is get cold. So I wake up, go in the bathroom, I start my stopwatch, I take it off and set it in the sink, and I just start striking. For 30 seconds all out. Get your heart rate up. And in 30 seconds, your heart will be beating, and you'll be like huffing and puffing, right? So now you're awake. Go in, just take my shower, regular warm shower, but the last 30 seconds, as cold as it'll possibly go, right? And I call this cold, hard truth. Okay, let me explain this a little bit, because this is a real thing. Psychologically, when I was in college, all 3 classes or whatever it was, right? I studied, I'd studied Liberty University after that, but I did study some psychology classes, and they were talking about, in this class, that we remember on a different level, like we talked about, when you're scared, when you're in pain or you're desperate, you retain on a different level. So retaining on a different level, when you're scared, it's a survival mechanism. If you're scared and you survive a grizzly attack, you'll remember, so maybe you can survive a grizzly attack, right? That's kind of how we're built. So I will now crank as cold as I can go, and I've got a couple of reminders, but I just know them. I just say them, and I call it cold, hard truth, and I need to look at them. I will say these things to me in the shower. Where's it at? Did I just miss it? And I think it's getting to a deeper level because I'm saying it and I'm cold and I crave it now. I literally crave it. So I might say, like for my pastor's message last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was, he says, we want an easy yes, but I'll say that we always want an easy yes. But he goes, a better yes comes after a bitter no. And I'm like, like I can grab hold of that. Like when you're in it and you're like, this feels like kind of like a no. It feels like a bitter no. And a lot of times a better yes than you actually asked for comes after. It's that, again, long-term gratification. You're going through a valley, keep going because it's going to be better on the other end. Say, not my will, but yours be done. Don't lose the lesson. Here I am, Lord, send me. Have you considered my servant Jimmy? From Job, it's like, God's like, that's my guy right here. How awesome would that be? God's like, even if you're going to be punished, that's my guy, right? Try him. You're like, wow, like the creator of the universe, thought that highly of me. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Back to the Orwell thing. People are walking around hypnotized, right? Yeah. Next one. 2 + 2 is 4, right? And if you know 1984, the book, I truly believe this. People are being manipulated all day, every day, and I don't want to be that guy. So when I'm sitting there just in the cold saying 2 + 2 is 4, it's just grab hold of something true, right? I need to grab hold of something true. Like the Indiana Jones, I talked about the Temple of Doom, when he's hypnotized and he's getting ready to sacrifice people, and his little buddy, Short Round, burns his chest and he wakes up and he's like, what am I doing? Like, I don't want to. And I was talking to Jason about this. It's like, I need to stay awake. Like, and when I sleep at night, pray, God protect me while I sleep. But during the day, I need to stay awake. Yeah. Not be hypnotized, not be in a trance. I know the truth. Go follow the truth. Go do something true. These, I've burned them in. And I don't remember things easily, so I had to work on these. This is fruit of the Spirit, by the way. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, AKA the S word, the one that we all hate, self-control, right? Control yourself. Don't be so defensive. Don't react. Sometimes silence is better than saying something foolish. From de-escalation class. If you start getting ticked or whatever, or somebody's in your face, ask wise questions. Say true words, or silence is better than saying something foolish. The last one, I call it the filter. Don't let things in your head or out of your mouth unless they are true, noble, right, and pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy, right? Don't let them in. And before you speak, is this true, noble, right, and pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy? Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But cling to it. It's the cold, hard truth. Crank it on cold. Every day, remind yourself of something good. Let it burn in. And when you get out of the shower, you're like, bring it. Bring it. And now I actually crave it. And I don't dig. Everybody's like, oh, Navy SEAL, you must like I hate the cold. Yeah. Hate it, right? But in cold plunges and in these cold, hard truth, 30 seconds I'll set it for 30 seconds. Usually it'll be like a minute and change because I'm in it, man. I'm in it. Let's go. Stay awake. Good stuff, brother. You got any morning routines? You got any routines? Or you just like,
No, the one I'm on right now it really works for me. Word before world.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to write that one.
So when I'm coming awake, it's like, nope.
Yes.
Before I hit the button on the coffee maker.
Oh, the last one. See the last one? It means that so I wrote 15 min. It means 15 minutes minimum in the word. And I love this one. I forgot to write it down. Word before the world. Get in the word before you touch your phone. Yeah. Right? Don't use your phone for the Bible in the morning. Use your Bible for the Bible. Because the second you pick it up, it's like, oh yeah, that guy, and it reminded, and all of a sudden you're like over here in whatever, Twitter or something ridiculous, right? But word before the world means before I get sucked dry and redirected and manipulated and all that stuff, open that book. And I've got a series of books now. It's like, open the Bible, open your devotion, pray for your wife. I got 2 devotions now because they're battling. They're so good. I don't want to pick one, right? So I just do both of them, and I bounce back and forth. But it just means, start off with a win. Yeah. Just start off with the truth, then launch into the day, and watch all these doors open up. Watch these blinders come off, and you're like, you start to see what's beautiful. You start to see what's not true, and you don't repeat lies anymore. You're like, man, we're not doing that. Like, your lies don't live in me. I'm on this plan. I'm on a better plan. Yeah. Any final words, brother? People wrapping up class.
I had another one, like connecting the dots. This couple days ago at the sermon, one of the key takeaways I wrote down was, I guess this would be God talking down. I'm more concerned with your character than your comfort.
Yes.
So the hard times, when you don't win,
Yeah.
Or when you're standing in the shower, cold water plunging,
Yeah.
you know, you're building that character. You're not comfortable
Yeah.
in 58-degree water.
Yeah.
People just aren't. So.
I think comfort can be a curse. I mean, there's times to enjoy comfort, but all the time, like we've talked about many times, if you have to leave comfort voluntarily or out of necessity, it makes you stronger. It really does, right? So being glued to comfort, yeah, and I talked to Jason about this too. I underestimated the power of comfort. I really did. So people, man, it's caustic now. It's sandpaper on skin when I hear the word comfort, easy, it's too hard, like all this stuff, or happy. I just want to be happy. Happy is not a destination, period. Like happy is riding a jet ski. You're going to figure about that tomorrow, right? I say joy, now we're talking, right? Righteous, now we're talking. If we're talking about being healthy, well, let's define that. You know, if it's right, is it right by God? Because that's actually a really good goal, right? That fruit of the Spirit. You know, how you doing? And that's what I love about the fruit of the Spirit. That should be a grade card on your fridge. If I asked you, like, love, joy, peace, how you doing? Yeah. Well, how would you score yourself on love right now? How are you loving other people? You're like, you know, how's your joy? Not happiness. How's your joy? Yeah. And people are like, why is that? How can we get better about that? Peace. Are you at peace? People are not at peace right now, man. People are crazy and getting crazier, right? Are you being kind? All of these things start saying, I think it is. Like we talked when we started. Can you hit the pause button just for a second and start asking why? Like, why am I not at peace? It's like ragu. It's in there. Like, you know, if you remember that thing, it's in the, like, brother, open your mouth. Like, it tells you how to experience peace. Like, if you want joy, if you want all these things. And again, I don't want to hear it's not. Well, that ain't easy. I know. Like, there's no value in easy. Yeah. So, but you got to go get it, right? It's not just showing up. Like, you know, was it Eddie Murphy talking about, like, getting a job? Like, who's there? Job. It's like, no, you got to go get a job. Job ain't going to come to the front door, right? This has to be, you know, there's, in the wives thing, I won't go too far down this road, but it's like the husbands and wives, like, you know, I'm responsible for the home to the best of my ability. You're responsible for your salvation. You know, so there's two souls here, and they're equal in worth, but they're different in station. And I'm serving, and you're serving, and then I'm going to serve you back and all that stuff, but I'm not responsible for your salvation. You're going to have to, I'm going to answer to God for this family. You're going to answer for your soul and where it goes. That's the deal, right? And I see this men over and over and over again. It's like, brother, you got to try, and you will be held responsible for yourself and how you raise this family. But that's a relationship between my wife and her Lord, period. That's personal business right there. Anything to add, brother?
No.
It's a good one, man. So hopefully, guys, I don't know how we get Orwell out of jail. I just know that we did that one. It's somehow locked up, that social media didn't like what we had to say about it. The cool part about it was it a day later? Was it a couple days later? Remember the thing I posted from John Lovell?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he saw us or we saw him. I truly believe that verbatim, God's kids are getting the same message. And he posted something about Animal Farm in 1984. Like, we had just recorded it. He posted, I didn't even know it was an ad. I clicked on it and he kind of talked about it or something like that. It's like a article maybe. But I was like, hey, big guy, look at this. And then ours got locked up in jail. But I mean, we'll do our best. We'll figure it out and we'll get it out to you. But if you have not, if you've not checked out, if you've never read 1984, that one's appropriate for kids. 1984 is not. So just know that. Animal Farm. So much of what's going on today, man, it's rich right there in it. And then 1984, that's a must right now. You check it out because we are being programmed right now. We are being watched. We are being censored. And that doesn't go to a good place.
Nope.
Right? So you do not be convinced that 2 plus 2 could maybe be 3 or maybe 5. 2 plus 2 is 4. Grab hold of something true and into what you know and cling to it. Yep. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Hit us up. Obviously, follow us. The big thing right now, the push for Patreon. Get on to Patreon and you won't miss what we've got going on. Join this movement. Till we see you guys again, God bless each and every one of you. We love you guys. Take care of one another. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another episode. Please be sure to follow us and support us on all of the social media. That's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. All of that starts by visiting ableshepherd.com.